Imagine waking up in a forest. Trees are pulsing with light and color. Everything starts to blend, and you feel this sense of warmth, this tingle, and this energy coursing through your body. You're hallucinating. It's all because of a tiny molecule. Today, we're breaking down psychedelics, how molecules like psilocybin, LSD, and DMT mess with your brain's chemistry in order to create these mind-bending effects. First, let's start with psilocybin, the chemical in magic mushrooms. Psilocybin is made up of 12 carbon atoms, 17 hydrogen atoms, 2 nitrogen atoms, 4 oxygen atoms, and 1 phosphorus atom. It has a structure called an indole ring, which is a special shape made up of 2 rings of atoms stuck together. One ring has 6 carbon atoms and a hexagon that's called a benzene ring, and the other is a 5-sided ring with 1 nitrogen atom in it. These 2 rings share an edge, so they're fused together in a single flat structure. This shape is super important for how it behaves in your brain. It is also important to note the phosphate group in psilocybin. So here's the ball and stick structure, so we can visualize the molecule with Vesper theory in mind. The indole ring, its shape is trigonal planar. For the side chain called amine, the shape around the carbon atoms is a tetrahedral, and the shape around the nitrogen atoms is trigonal pyramidal. The shape of the phosphate group is a tetrahedral, and lastly, the oxygens in OH connected to the phosphate group is bent like water. I know I've been talking a lot about psilocybin, but psilocybin doesn't actually do the hallucinating part. Your body changes it into psilocin by removing the phosphate group. This reaction looks like this. So here's a balance equation showing that 1 molecule of psilocybin plus 1 molecule of water reacts to create 1 molecule of psilocin and 1 molecule of phosphoric acid. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme alkaline phosphatase. The reason why psilocin causes such drastic effects is because it looks exactly like serotonin. Here's the structure of psilocin. Looking like serotonin causes these drastic effects, as serotonin is the feel-good chemical and helps regulate mood, sleep, appetite, digestion, memory, learning, and also plays a key role in feelings of well-being and emotional balance. Now, here's psilocin and serotonin side by side. Looking at them side by side, both have an indole ring and an amine group. And just overall, without any knowledge of any indole group or amine group, they just look almost identical. Because of this similarity, psilocin can fit into serotonin receptors, especially one called 5-HT2A. Think of it almost like a fake key fitting into a lock. Here's a model of psilocin binding to this 5-HT2A receptor. By binding to this receptor, it can mimic the effects of serotonin. But what's actually interesting about this is it's not necessarily proven how the psilocin binding to the 5-HT2A receptor can lead to hallucinations. Now we know how psilocybin functions. So now let's get into a little bit of how LSD and DMT function. And come to find out, they function very similarly. Here is LSD. It's larger and more complex, but still has that indole ring and a similar nitrogen side chain for binding receptors that serotonin has. Now here is DMT. It has that indole ring and once again looks really similar to serotonin. Overall, psilocybin, LSD, and DMT can cause vivid hallucinations, distorted perception of time and space, and intense emotional shifts. Physical symptoms may include dilated pupils, increased heart rate, nausea, muscle tension, and some users may experience panic, confusion, or frightening during a bad trip, especially at high doses. It's important to note the dangers. They can really cause accidents or injuries due to impaired judgment, and they can worsen or even trigger underlying mental health illnesses such as schizophrenia. They can lead to panic attacks or suicidal thoughts, and in really rare cases result in long-term disorders, such as hallucinogen persisting perception disorder. And now you know, tiny changes in chemical structure can lead to huge changes in perception. That's the chemistry of psychedelics. Thanks for watching.